All right, so we're gonna do myself, then Dan, and then your personal Frameform order with a
Got
number.
it.
Okay.
With the number after it. All right, here we go. Mason,
Dan.
Hannah.
Claire.
Jen.
from Rixie, this is All Staff. Awesome. Here we are. Episode 30. We're back in the mix with the host of Frameform. Thank you guys so much for being here and being on camera as well. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. Our
No
pleasure.
probs.
How you guys doing?
I'm not going to lie. I'm actually kind of upset because this means it's the end of the season. But
Yeah.
I get
aside
that.
from that, pretty good. Pretty
Yeah.
well. And
Great.
excited to talk about things. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, it's starting to get really cold here really fast. And I'm enjoying it because it's been hot for a little too long.
Oh, it's still been hot, and it's going to be hot for a little longer out here, out west. Just praying for rain. One
No
of these
problem here
months.
in Florida.
Yeah. It's going to be humid and hot for Dan for the foreseeable future.
12 months a year. Yeah.
So you guys just got off of another call. Do you want to kind of explain what that was?
Yeah, that was just us preparing for this call, basically.
Oh, okay.
Also,
I didn't know that.
Well, also we haven't seen each other in I think 2 weeks because
Yeah.
we wrapped, 2 weeks ago, and just have been, going through, the post side as well as, me taking care of social and us getting show notes for you and all of that. So it's been a nice 2-week break of just chilling and then just catching up on the call right before this. So
You guys are killing the social stuff, by the way. Absolutely killing it. Each and every
Thank
one of you. I
you.
see all of
Thanks,
your posts,
Dan.
all of your
That is
stories,
their
all
work.
that great stuff.
That's actually something. Well, hey Claire, it's not because we all conceive of the season together and everything. It's all served from our cauldron of witch's brew with the three of us.
Yeah,
so,
Claire.
Let's
Yeah,
not
Claire.
let's not downplay your contributions. And
Well, I'm just saying, what Hannah does is developing all of those, the AE templates and developing all the, very, very sophisticated but very user friendly for any level of editor to easily, create things. And Jen is just on it with all the social media from all of the Dance Cinema accounts and just, constantly posting and literally
Yeah.
all I do, I wake up on Wednesday, I post a announcement to my stories, and then that's usually the extent of my social media.
It's not just on Frameform. It's also all of Jen's 4 social accounts that she is affiliated with.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, there's a lot of things I really don't like about social media. So I take long breaks, but when I go for it, I'm there. And that's actually something we wanted to talk about today with you two is we've seen across all of our platforms, I think we've probably had the most growth through and on Instagram, which is really interesting. And
Yeah,
I think
for
it
season
helps
2
that-
especially.
Yeah, and I really think that doing our video posts and also involving more people in the season, having
Yeah.
all the interviews, having the co-hosts,
Yeah.
tagging all the films and filmmakers,
Yeah.
it's really engage the community, which is part of the desire with the show and what we really want to do.
Yeah, I get the Instagram notifications on my phone as well, and I swear every day it's new follow on Frameform, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Nice.
This is crazy.
Yes.
You
And it's
know?
organic too. There's no bots there. There's no we haven't
We
done
haven't
any
bought our followers.
yeah, and we
Yeah.
haven't done any giveaway or
Paid
incentive
stuff.
things, and we haven't done anything yet where it's tag a friend and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Nothing against channels. I know channels got to do what they got to do, but we haven't done that, and it's great. This has all been organic.
Hey, I did it for Feed the Jar. It works really well. It's a decent
does.
little marketing.
Feed the Jar
marketing
had a
plan.
really killer IG account.
It
Dan
was
worked on that
pretty
for a long
meme.
time.
I worked on that for a minute, and then it just like the podcast itself just didn't take off the way we wanted it to.
That's
And
such
we
an
put-
American phrase to say a minute when you really mean so much more than a minute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
I
it
spent
was a
lot
while.
of time. My photos in my phone is like 95% memes, like just meme templates now. So if you ever need
man.
like a fire meme template, y'all just hit me up. Gotcha.
That was a
Actually.
flex from Dan.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Now that I think about it,
It's a weird flex, but it's okay.
It's a good flex.
Hey, it's a good one.
So you guys mentioned the fact that you had a lot of people that guested on the show and you did interviews and stuff like that. And this was something for me that I thought was worth talking about because in a number of the episodes, one of you would edit the actual audio before it got to me. And I wanted to kind of ask you what it was like stepping into that role this season, actually having to make editorial decisions on the actual waveforms, like, and what that was like. And I'm just curious, like, was it difficult? Was it easy? Like, I'm just curious about it.
Well, as a dance teacher, I edit a lot of music throughout the year, and there's some music editing with editing videos, so I actually really enjoyed it. And I hate to admit it, but I do have perfectionist tendencies, so being able to zoom right in and adjust the length of a pause or cut out every time I said or which is my number one goal for next season, is to stop saying all the
Same.
time. Specifically that phrase. Whew. I really loved it.
Good.
I would do it again. And I find that it helped when we did our mix one of the whole show. If any of us edited the interview, no. I listened if you edited, but like if I edited the interview, I was like, great, that's 20 minutes that I don't need to listen to again because I already put my ears on it.
True.
Yeah. I mean, this year, well, like Jen said, if you're involved in dance, you are involved in sound editing in some way or another, because sometimes when you get performance audio and you have to fix it up, especially if it's live, that's, that can be an uphill battle sometimes. But it was an interesting, it was interesting for me, and it was a great process for me just getting to know the platforms I edit on. So I actually do another podcast as well through the festival that I work for, and I primarily edit on Audition there. But here
Claire,
it was an
you gotta-
opportunity.
Claire, you got to plug that shit. What's it called?
I'm going to
Tell
plug
us,
that
Tell
shit.
us the
Shit.
follow.
Okay, so following through on that, the podcast is called Dancing Through the Lens. It's through the San Francisco Dance Film Festival. It's like really short interviews with people who screen at the San Francisco Dance Film Festival, and that's been fun. And actually, that did come about because some of the festival team listened to Frameform and they wanted to do
Hell yeah.
Because
something
Claire's
like this.
amazing. Because Claire is amazing, and they're like, wait, we need more Claire.
Yep.
That's
And
great,
you know
though.
what? I need more Claire too. I'm subscribed. I don't live in the Bay Area, and it's lovely, but I don't think that's in my destiny either. But I will listen to that podcast every week
thank
because
you.
Claire Schweitzer's on it, and San Francisco has amazing programming.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. And they also have a festival that's coming up, mostly online, some in person. I'll plug that later, but I'm going to go back to the audio bit of it. But so I've been editing that podcast on Audition, and I decided to edit any interviews that I did on Logic, and kind of use this as an opportunity to see like which program is a better fit, and see like which one I prefer for editing and the like. And I mean, sorry, Basin and all
It's
the
okay.
Apple Suite people, Audition is winning out right now.
Good.
So that's, but I mean, always a good experience to get that Logic trial and just, try to get on a similar workflow and kind of get, step in your suite for,
Yeah.
for a second. Oh, that came out so wrong. Step behind your
Whoa.
Okay, no
Yeah.
matter what kind of metaphor I say, this is not
okay.
going to come out well.
It's okay.
All right.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I it was interesting when you guys were like, we're gonna try and edit. I was like, that's great. Like, because I think you get this new perspective of like what it takes to create the show, and so I'm really glad that you guys got to do that.
Well,
Well-
anyone that edits like is watching the show for that much longer.
Yeah.
Like, I think that people that don't edit, I think that's the main thing they don't understand. In order to edit something, I need to watch it. I need to actually work on it. I need to export it. I need to upload and send it. So already take the runtime and then multiply it by 4. And that's if I barely do anything.
Well,
So
also,
mad
it
respect.
was a good thing to have these interviews edited before our recording because we're timing things out as we're recording the show, and we have to understand, like, oh, okay, if this is like a 20-minute interview, we only have X amount of time to record. And also, it just helps us not just prepare for that, but also prepare like what we're going to talk about, because sometimes people, go off tangent, or we don't need to hear everything. And I mean, all of us have a say of what people are gonna, edit their interview. I mean, I'm a little opinionated about that too. So
Yeah.
I'm concerned with runtime and what staying on topic when we have these interviews with guests.
Yeah, I haven't told the other 2 team members this, but there was one interview that one of the interviews we did, it was eventually edited down into the 20-something minute range because, as the other 2 will attest, I am terrible at keeping time on interviews.
You're a real artist about it. You're like, we're having a conversation, and if it's going to be 3 hours, it's going to be 3 hours. Just kidding. You've never done an interview that was 3 hours.
I haven't done one that was 3 hours. I did do one that was an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, I get it. You
Halfway
know,
there. Yeah.
I'm not telling you which one.
I mean, the more content you get, the more information you can pick out of that conversation and choose where you want to go with it.
That is true.
And also, it allows you a better, like, I want to say, like a peak value from the conversation. So as you can pick out those points that people would really want to hear, and then be like, okay, well, they talked for an hour and a half. A lot of it was good, but some of it, I'll just toss out, and we can like cut this down to a short period of time and have that premium, juicy content that everybody wants to hear.
Well, I think that's what we did best this season, probably, is actually learning to structure everything. Not like learning to structure. Sounds like we didn't do it at all last season, but I think like as we're recording, we were timing out our segments. It definitely made like editing a little bit easier because it wasn't like, oh, I have a 15-minute intro and it all sounds kind of decent, but we only want to allow for 5 minutes. So I think that's definitely something we can build on next season, but I wouldn't say we mastered it, but we came pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Maybe we did master it.
Just like trying to get to the point of things instead of repeating another way of what someone else is saying. Because I think that happened a lot in season 1, where like we were all saying kind of like the same thing, but in a different language of our own. And this year we were definitely like acing the whole like, all right, let's get to the point and then move on, Well,
and I think learning that even though it is like a longer form show, there's some sections where we literally did just list things, or we're like, check the show notes for this thing. So understanding where it actually makes sense to be long form, I think, is really good as well.
So at the top of the show, we talked about like how, successful and how active the Instagram has been. And I'm curious, just because, whenever the account received like a message or anything like that, there was like, I texted Hannah and I was like, hey, there's a message, like, just letting you know in case you didn't see it. I'm just curious what the response has been across the board from people that obviously Dan and I don't have contact with about season 2. And was it good? Was it bad? What was it?
all bad. No, I'm just kidding.
We did not cause any scandals.
It was
Yeah.
all really good.
No
I
one died.
mean, we would get a lot of.
The day you do, you'll get a huge boost in views. I'm telling you.
I mean, we get a lot
We
of.
need a Chuki
people-
episode.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
We get a lot of people saying really positive things, whether they were a guest on the show or not. I really appreciated people just like commenting. I don't know if it's just a heart or they were so glad to be on the show and sharing that online. I mean, the day that we released the Motion Dance Collective episode, there was an Instagram frenzy between the two of us of just sharing, that we have an appreciation for one another and just re-Instagramming each other's stories. So it's been really nice there, and just also like random organizations reaching out to have their brand be promoted on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's been our biggest strength this season, is taking it from an intention to engage community to an action and like the practice of engaging the community. I feel like every episode, at the very minimum, we are tagging people, we're talking at length about their films, we're curating them into like topics, and we're archiving things in that sort of themed way. And that's at least. And then at most, we're having people on the show. We're having them co-host. We're having them talk about their projects. And I don't want to underestimate the impact of doing something like what we did with Motion Dance Collective, because sometimes there is this belief that there can only be one, or that competition is bad. And, even the fact that Claire does 2 podcasts, and like we have more than one YouTube, and we have more than one Instagram account. Like the fact that there can be this multiplicity to things. It doesn't have to be just one thing for people to consume at all times. I think that was a really good mutual effort from us.
On the YouTube analytics, it's looking like Frameform is our top playlist out of the whole channel.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to give you guys that a little bit of knowledge too. I don't know if we've ever told you that, but consistently, like on the page itself, it tells us like all the analytics for each of the actual like whole playlists that we have. So it seems like people are actually going into that playlist and like listening through the whole thing.
Love
Wow.
As
it.
opposed to like,
That's awesome.
clicking on
We
the videos
we
randomly.
actually were thinking we should put up our previews that we do, because every week now we're editing these like 15-second videos or so about the films that we're talking about. So we should just put those up on YouTube too, because I've noticed like Rixie's been doing super short videos to like help boost views and get engagement. So since we have those videos anyways, might as well go for it.
Yeah, and I think it would help people cross-post to other platforms more easily too. And
Yeah.
because a lot of people, I mean, at least a lot of people I've spoken to are kind of stepping away from the social media side, and a lot of their promotion is through email. Like I say, like the classic way, email. But
Yeah.
so having
Newsletter.
something that's independent of a social media platform would
Right.
be ideal as well.
Mm-hmm.
That we can totally do that. If you guys just want to send me those, I can, or just link me the folder. I can definitely start putting those on the shorts. I hopefully you don't have to think too much about this, but throughout season 2, you guys have talked about a lot of different films, and I think it would be worth kind of just giving us your favorite or your couple favorites of those films that you actually spoke about, and if you can remember the episode number so that people can refer back to that. But just your the favorite film or short or whatever it was that you talked about during season 2.
I can go first while Jen and Claire go on their list. Well, my personal favorite was actually one that we did recently, which was our desert episode. I really liked all 3 of those films that we chose for it. And I don't know where my head was, but I think I was just more in a like movie dissection mode that night. And I also really love the film Clouded that we were talking about, and Our Last Ario. I just think those locations are so beautiful to look at and so fascinating to dissect. Especially looking at Clouded, like I just got in this whole like mode of thinking about like aliens and Area 51 and all of that kind of stuff. And also like the music in that is just fantastic. So it's I thought that was a really strong episode, and I'm really fascinated by our location scout episodes because that is such a huge part of screen dance in general. Is just like, why do these people, and dancers pick these locations? And there's just so many of them that you can literally put them down in, like, as we would with genres and narrative films. So I enjoyed that one a lot.
I totally agree. And I feel like that episode, just listening back to it, I just feel like I was so sad about it being our last one because I thought, wow, we really just have such a good rhythm and we're all chiming in. And like, I did the thing. I'm trying to stop. I just think that episode was exceptional. I really agree with you. If you hadn't mentioned that one, I definitely would have been like, that one. I love that we had so many, like I said, so many people that were interviewed that were on the show, but like people that I think are these really important, like, landmark figures. Like, I don't want to go through the whole list or like single out only a couple people and like make other people like, oh, I'm not a landmark. So I will say everyone we brought on this season is huge. They're huge and they're doing such amazing stuff. And the fact that they all sat with us to talk about their work and to take Frameform seriously and participate means the world. So I think that was a huge thing. And then the last one I'll single out, the last two are the Metropolis episode and the Dance Cells episode where we talked about like branded ad campaigns. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, seconded on both. I think Metropolis was actually quite a late decision, but like when that decision was made, it was just like, oh yes, we need to go in on this. That was such kismet there, and as well as the Deserts episode. And yeah, Jen, I agree. Like we really had a great rhythm during that episode, and I feel that the three films were, they're obviously in the similar location, but they were all so resonant to, I think, where we are in this moment in very different ways.
Yeah.
As well. And yeah, and also, as you were mentioning, Jen, it's so fulfilling being able to talk to people about their work. And it's kind of hilarious. Sometimes I've seen like some people in person, like actually Mark Brew finally made it back to the States and I saw him in ballet class recently. So
oh my gosh.
It was wonderful. Like
that's
connecting,
awesome.
like, oh my gosh, there you were in Scotland. Now here you are here. And yeah, and as far as the actual films, again, this is like killing children.
Whoa,
Sorry.
Claire.
I think
Hey, you said we can be a little explicit
bad.
on this episode, y'all.
You're right.
Whoa, too
I think it's
far.
not quite there.
Right. Working with kids. No.
I didn't even know that was.
That was
a turn of
episode
phrase.
17.
Right.
Refer to episode 17.
But yeah, basically like but as far as like the films that really resonated strongly with me over the course of the season, I'm stealing from both of your choices, Metropolis and basically like the desert films.
And Home. I gotta add Home.
And Home. Oh yeah.
I feel like we forget Home was this season because like literally the first episode, like pre-episode we ever did, that was one of our things that we gushed about. And same with Wilkie Branson and Tom. And we actually didn't go as into Tom because Motion Dance Collective did an entire Tom episode, like really like this season. I dropped my paper. This season. So we were like, okay, please listen to that. And then here's some different animation focused questions for Wilkie. So
yeah.
Oh man.
Nice.
It was a good season.
Through.
Sad for it to end.
Hannah, did you have your hand raised? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, like, a comment on the Metropolis episode. That's one thing that we want to do moving forward is not just looking at dance films, but a film that is widely known or acclaimed. that everyone could, maybe if you're not a dance filmmaker, but just like someone who likes films, could watch this and also see how dance can be tied in with it. So I'm looking forward to that with our seasons moving forward, where it's going to be more on the film side and not just the dance film side.
And with West Side Story coming out this December, definitely want to talk about it next
Yeah.
No doubt.
season. Just putting that on the table right now.
I just think it's cool how you guys see the progression in your work and how you've basically come from season 1 where, you know, when you first get into a podcast and you're not like, you know, fully confident in like the whole atmosphere of doing it and speaking to a microphone and talking to people digitally, it can be a little weird. And it's good to hear that you guys feel confident moving forward. And then in season 2, you guys finally got your groove and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. I just want to keep doing this. That's what like really brings me joy, because it shows like you guys really you put the effort into it, and it's clear you guys put all the effort into it. It's absolutely a beautiful series.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
We're really grateful for everything y'all do with this show. It's amazing seeing all of the posts and everything. Like I'll talk to you guys sometimes. I'll message you guys on the Instagram and be like, oh, dude, I can't wait. Like that OK Go video when you guys were on I think it was episode 30. You guys were talking about OK Go.
Yeah.
Like, I watched them way back when, like way back.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, it's coming full circle. So I mean, I like how you guys are finally getting your flow. You're feeling confident in it, because when you get into it, it's either it clicks with you after a little while, or you just can't get it. And you guys really just seem like you're nailing it right now. So
Appreciate the love, Dan. You guys are
Always.
killing it too.
I mean, we're all right. I mean,
We're doing
honestly, Mason's fucking killing it. Let's be real here.
Mason.
We had some major numbers
yeah.
last
Oh my gosh.
week, and you know, well, I don't know if we want to talk about that on this particular episode. We'll probably save that for the next one, and it'll be a real aggregate of you know, a bunch of different things coming up here soon, hopefully. So
Well, we were wondering about our audience analytics, because previously, pretty steadily, you know, 3 of us are based in the US, but I think the most of our audience was in Brazil, was like our number 1 country. And then, muito obrigada. And then we also had Canada and the US, which makes sense because I'm from there.
So where
and
are
it's
we
like
at?
our neighbor. And,
is that the
you know,
Simplecast
do you have any new
analytics?
countries?
Right?
Yeah. So let me pull up Simplecast here.
Yeah. I'll pull up the YouTube as well. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes.
I think that's
Get
a great
them stats.
that's a great piece to end
Of
on. Let's
course.
talk about the,
yeah,
the
we can
raw
go
data.
go over a little bit.
So over the course of the past, 19, 20 weeks, I've seen that the weekly return rate has been slowly getting higher. And so, but as far as countries are concerned, I remember, I don't know if it's still on, I can look through my email, but another chart position in United Arab Emirates, which is
okay, yeah.
so interesting.
UAE.
People in
Thank you.
Dubai just like wanting some dance film in their
I
lives.
mean, is there an audience there for that? I mean, I don't know.
Probably.
I mean,
I think
there's
people
an
have
audience.
VPNs
everywhere.
running through there.
Maybe.
There's a
Oh,
lot of
good call,
dance
good call.
That's
stuff
possible.
over there as well.
One thing that we spoke about on All Staff about other shows is, for some reason, we've had quite an uptick in Indian listeners, and that's the same for Frameform. 9% of all of your downloads are coming from India, so
Thank you.
that's
Oh, wow.
that's pretty wild. A bit in the UK, but yeah, I mean, I would say for the most part, India was like the standout for regions this time around.
All right. Thanks for coming through, India.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because, like, I mean, knowing people there, like, their lockdown has been just like going on and on and on. And so I think that people are
Yeah.
just inside.
Listening
And
to more
Indian,
things.
like traditionally, India, I mean, with Bollywood and everything, they are masters of dance on
Yeah.
screen.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Bollywood puts casts the biggest shadow over Hollywood. So I'm not surprised that we might have a lot of audience potential there because you know, in pop culture you see so much dance.
Did you guys ever do a Bollywood episode?
We
talked about one
We talked about one for our budget episode in season 1.
to be our big budget film.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
like
'cause
it
they-
was ridiculous.
There's a lot of wild
And Indian
stuff
Brad
over there.
Pitt was in it.
Crab.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell
Cash
yeah.
grab.
Indian Brad Pitt.
That's a handsome man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the YouTubes. So because there's no actual like video portion of the show itself, the views are generally pretty low, unfortunately. It's an upload from we use what? DistroKid, right?
It's Headliner.
Headliner.
So you're saying
Headliner
the
that
ratings
just,
are dismal, Dan?
drags it over. It is pretty low, unfortunately.
That'll be
but-
our number one goal for next year then.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if things are going the way they have been going with the YouTube, we may be able to get more traffic to those videos later as, you know, we grow more and things like that as people find it. But honestly, the visual portion, it's difficult for the average person to just listen to something on YouTube because
Yeah, unless they
when
have
you
like
lock
YouTube
your-
music or
yeah.
something.
exactly, when you lock your phone, it immediately stops the audio and you can't listen to it anymore. So I think that's a big detractor from podcasting on YouTube if you don't have any video. So
Well,
that may be the
well,
only thing.
since we are talking about videos, what if next year that we like put in, like, you know, at least we could upload the previews we have, but there could be situations where we do like a clip from an episode, or maybe we just put the interviews up and like we can have like,
Yeah.
the video of the films we're talking about and really
Oh,
have
yeah.
it exist like as a YouTube format. I know Hannah's probably like, I don't want to do a whole other.
Well, the thing about the videos themselves is you'd also have to get all of the licenses
Yeah,
to be
it's
able to run
copyright.
them in
Yeah.
our own video. And
Yeah.
make sure it's not DMCA.
But I feel like we're talking to the for some of them it's fine because
Yeah.
we're talking to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people that are making them.
I mean, yeah, the thing is, just because all of us have lives aside from our podcasts and everything else that we do to live and eat and be well, I mean, if you want to do a video portion for the interview part, sure, go for it. Am I going to do that? I don't know, because I also value my free time. But, you know, who knows? Who knows?
No, I
This
mean,
could
even if
be
it's
something
like-
that
Yeah.
we could talk about in the long run.
Yeah, even if it's like you know, a highlight portion, a short video,
Exactly.
or even if it's like one of the shorts or something like that. If we can do something to draw more people into the show itself, we would like to probably brainstorm some of those ideas with you.
Or we could
So-
even host like on YouTube. You can add people's videos to your playlist. So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
say Clouded, this film that we just recently talked about that we're obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
On that company's YouTube, I'm sure you could add it to the Rixie playlist. And then we're telling people to watch it in the show notes, but then we're adding it to their playlist so they can watch
Mhm.
as they go.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It would also draw traffic to the page as well.
Boom!
Yeah. I think one thing moving forward, just to kind of keep a baseline level of attention, is to take any of the posts that we deem like fair use and uploading them as shorts to the YouTube page,
Yeah.
kind of like we talked about. Because by the end of the season, which is by the time this comes out, will be essentially a week after. We'll have like 20 posts. So, yeah, I think there's definitely
It's
going to be
actually a good
opportunities to
idea, yeah.
reuse those. So, if you're listening to this, as far as I'm concerned, the entirety of season 2 is live on the Frameform RSS feed. You can find that on any podcast player that you use. And again, Dan and I just want to thank.
Also,
Oh, yeah.
sorry, I just want to do one more plug.
Yes.
That if you are in the DMV area in the second weekend of October, Jen's festival is happening then at the Eden Hotel in DC. So please stop on by.
We're all going to be there. Thanks
We're
for thinking
all
of that,
going to be
Claire.
there.
Come meet us.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and San Francisco Dance Film Festival is also going live at the later end of October as well. You can get tickets online there. too.
And you can find information about all of these at the International Screen Dance Calendar, which Claire helps manage.
And they will send me links to put in the show notes as well if you're a listener.
Yes.
Yes.
But as I was saying, we appreciate you guys so much for being here and being a part of Rixie. So thank you so much. And yeah, excited that we wrapped up the season. And thank you guys for listening. And we will talk to you guys soon. See ya.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
All Staff is a production of Rixie. If you want to keep up with all things Rixie, follow us on Instagram at rixie.co. That's RIXEY.co. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review and rate the show. It really helps out.